Hello fellow serial killers. So we're going to have a quick look at autumn or winter scythe maintenance. Just putting them away basically for the end of the season, if you are at the end of your season. I know some of you still have stuff to cut, but we'll go through stripping down the snath and either charcoaling it, oiling it, some sanding maybe, and obviously what to do with the blades, just to keep them safe and rust free through the winter months when they're stored in your shed or wherever. So anyway, let's get cracking with that. So you all know how to dismantle the handles. I've got gloves on because I'm going to be using oil and stuff later on. So again, remember with the bolts and nuts you want to be over a hard surface where if you drop them you can find them easily. Remember these things can drop out pretty quickly. There's little IKEA style gizmos. And I've taken those out because we're going to oil those up as well and give them a bit of a clean if necessary. So I'll just take the top handle off. You can see this one's got a little rusted around the washer, so maybe just give that a clean up. One of the things to look for is the grub nuts on the D-ring. They can fill up with grit and dirt from when you're mowing. That was a little bit squeaky and stiff, so needs a bit of a clean. So you can see the threads on this are quite gummed up, so we're going to take that all the way out, give it a scrub with a wire brush in a minute or two, and again we'll clean the inside of the threads as well. Handles off. So this end, I mean, this is one of my older snaths, gets used on lots of training. It's a little bit swollen at this end. You can see that the notch is a bit scruffy as well, so I'm going to take the plate and the plastic cover off as well so we can get the oil right in there and everything's well preserved. Yeah. So it's just a case of getting a chisel underneath, a bit of a tap and lever stuff out. Okay. So you can see before I take that out how much muck is gathered under there. So it's another good reason to get these off completely and give it a good clean. It gets a bit bent in the removal process, but it's soft enough that you can bend it back in again. But that needs a good clean. And you can see the snath there. It's all a bit mucky. So that'll be easy to clean up now. Same again with the plastic collar. Okay. There's a couple of little spikes from the stables have snapped. They'll just tap into the wood, and what I'll do, I've got some smaller tacks like these which I'll use to reattach the plastic collar. So I'll just get a little brush and give that a scrub for getting rid of all this gunk. Use the chisel just to loosen some of that dirt that's in there. Okay, and I'm going to get some sandpaper and give that a bit of a a rub down as well. You can see there's a few little scuffs in the woodwork there. It happens over time when you're bashing against things, or even during transport in the back of a van. Still works. And then just give that a little bit of a wipe down with your best tea towel. Get the dust off. Do the same with the handles. So again, the bits you're hanging onto are the bits you want to be the smoothest and most comfortable. Wipe down with a cloth to get that dust off. So you want it fairly dust free when you come to oil them, which I'm going to do now. It's also worth taking these long bolts out of the top handle, because you can see this one has got quite rusted. So it needs a bit of a clean up. Also means I can clean up that hole properly as well. When you're putting stuff back together, you see I've cleaned this D-ring up and the grub nuts and things. Little squirt of a well-known water repellent oil, and just work the threads through on the grub nuts so that they're spinning nice and freely. And you know you've got all the grit and grunge out of the threads. Okay, you can do the same with the nuts and bolts and washers and things on the threads on here. Let them a good clean up. Yeah, and the same with these as well. It should round nice and quickly, nice and easily. Okay, so just going to clean this one up. Managed to find my wire brush. So I'll give it a bit of a through that. You can see it's coming up pretty well. There we go. Quick squirt. And make sure the nut goes on nice and easily. Yeah, that runs through nice and easily there. Going to give that a bit of a clean on the Gary Flex like we did with the other ones. So here's a blade that's not in too bad a shape after end of season. But what I like to use are these Gary Flex blocks, like Garrison, if you can see that, coarse and medium grain, and just give them a shine up. Takes off rust, takes off all that residue from the vegetation when you're cutting it. It's a little bit dark on this side. I'll give you a demonstration. See how it comes up shiny? That dark stuff, that's the residue off your plant matter. So you want that cleaning off. So if it builds up around the blade, it just bungs up the actual edge of the blade. You can clean your blades quite adequately just with water and a cloth after you've been using them, as soon as you've finished using them. But if you don't do it straight away and that plant residue dries on, it's better to use one of these because it's a bit tougher to get off. And this is worth doing, because bear in mind these things are designed to last a lifetime, so you want to take good care of them. Cloth again. Okay, so that's not in bad shape now. Remember though, before you put these back on, I mean again, you want to, you can give them a little bit of a, get some bristles in there, clean that through, because they can trap rust and moisture in. Just make sure these blade guards are dry before you put them on. And if you're wearing, if you're using any kind of material blade sheath or cover, again you want to make sure they're nice and dry inside. Don't have them sat out in the rain and then put your blade into them at the end of the day, because if you leave them in there too long they're just going to rust up and actually get sort of stuck inside and it's difficult to get them out. So dry and dry before you put them away. People ask me if I oil my blades. I don't put any oil of any kind on. I know you can do. I mean, there's no harm in giving them a bit of a spray with some water repellent oil. That would help protect them. Anyway, let's look at the metal work. Looks like somebody's had it away with me wire brush. So I would use a wire brush on these sometimes if I had it. But this is just as good. Get the threads clean. You can use the Gary Flex blocks just to shine them up a bit. Don't know if it'll fit in there. Nope. And then the threads on these grub nuts, give them a good clean as well. Just to get the dust out. It'll shine up. Doesn't do any harm. Shine up on there. Right, now this is where I use the pointy bit on my file. And I just grind out all the crud from inside the grub nut. Yeah, the next one is a bit grimy in the middle of that one. Nice and clean. And again, before putting these back in, so that when they go back in nice and smooth, and it'll see them right through the winter. There's the washer from the top handle, that needs a bit of a clean. Just being a perfectionist, really. There we go. Same with the nut. Give that a clean if you want. Doesn't do any harm. And that definitely needs a bit of a shine up. The whole thing's a bit grubby on the inside, so I'll use my brush to get the rubbish out of that. Give it a bit of a shine up as well. Essentially, you're just ensuring that there's not too much wet material getting trapped against the wood, and obviously it will rust this eventually. To get a life's worth out of these things, just treat them well. So there we go, there's all our bits and bobs. I've got another 3 scythes to do, but I'm not going to show you the same thing on all of them. But basically that's a strip down, clean up and oil. I've still got that snath sat in the pot of oil there. That'll be to put back together tomorrow.